All right, guys, so today is going to be a story that I've been wanting to tell for the longest time, but it is just one of those things that's happened to me that it's something that I really wanted to keep to myself because it's a special thing in my life, you know? This is a special friendship that I have with somebody, and some things I like to keep to myself. Some things are just so crazy and so out there and so random and so just insane that, like, I even thought if I made a video about it, people wouldn't believe me. But no, this is an actual real story thing that happened to me. And it's one of the reasons why I really just love YouTube, because through YouTube, I have been able to meet so many people from so many different places. Also, this video is a collaboration with my friend Alexi, and she did a video on a similar topic, and I'm gonna link that down below. She uploaded hers like 2 days ago. Girl, why didn't you wait for me? But it's okay. Go click on that link and watch her video after you finish watching this one. But anyways, on to this story. Whew, okay. So about a year and a half ago, this guy messaged me, and he was somebody that watched my YouTube channel. And I honestly don't remember how we started talking. It was like very, very random. And he said some kind of like joke or something. It was like right around the holidays, and he had joined my Patreon, and I responded to him, and he was like literally one of my first patrons on my Patreon page. And we were chatting back and forth. We were joking about Christmas, like awful Christmas presents or something. And he said something about giving Applebee's gift cards to all of his enemies. And I just thought that was like hilarious. After we had exchanged a few messages, I was like, wow, this guy's really, really cool. And I'm really surprised he's like not creepy. He seems to just like really want to engage with me and talk with me and like get to know me. And he had a really, really great sense of humor, and we just clicked very, very well through messages. And so eventually I added him on Snapchat, and for about, I think 6 months, me and him would snap each other. One thing that I thought was a little bit odd, but I chose just to not make it a big deal, was that he didn't really want to reveal anything about himself. He just said that I'm a very private person. So he had like this alias. I'm not gonna say what the alias is because I mean, I don't know, maybe you guys can like figure out through the alias or something. I couldn't for 6 whole freaking months. But I didn't know his name. I didn't know where he was from. I really didn't know anything about him. And we would just talk about random stuff. Like I would snap him for advice about relationships. We would talk about movies, music, things going on in the world, like just literally everything. I think like the one thing that we really had the most in common is just we love food. We love pizza, and we just love talking about it. We realized we had a lot of things in common, and I was so dumbfounded. I couldn't imagine who this person could be. He's so funny, he's so witty, he's so great to talk to. I feel like he knows me so well, and I feel like I'm kind of like picking up on what kind of person he is, but at the same time, I know absolutely nothing about him. I know nothing of his background. All I knew is that he traveled all the time, and every time I messaged him, he was in like a different part of the world. Why are you here this week, and then there this week, and there next week, and then in Alaska the following week, and then in China the next week? I couldn't understand why. Maybe he was part of a circus, maybe he was part of like a traveling male stripper group. And I also wondered, how did this guy stumble upon my YouTube channel? He really didn't seem to have an interest in the booby and physical aspect of my channel. So I asked him, how did you find my YouTube channel? And he said that a few years ago, I made a video about my dad passing away, and that around the same time, a member of his family had passed away too. And he said that he really appreciated and enjoyed my video about my dad passing away. And he always joked around and said that he was on my channel before the boobs. And that really meant a lot to me, and also made me feel like really special because he had been on my channel for so long, for so many years, and stuck around. There was no part of me that thought that this could be like a bad person or a stalker or a serial killer or anything like that. So eventually 6 months went by, and I became more and more curious about who this person was. And he did mention to me that he was going to be going to New York City for a week, and I suggested the idea of me taking him out for pizza. And much to my amazement, he agreed to meet up for pizza with me at my favorite pizza restaurant. And I was so nervous, you guys, because even then I knew nothing about him. And once we had kind of set a date for when we were gonna go out and meet for pizza, I started asking a little bit more questions. Why did he choose to be anonymous? I asked him every single question I had on my mind. I said, are you married? Is that why you can't tell me who you are? Are you in politics? Are you like a senator or something? Are you part of the FBI, the CIA? I just couldn't figure it out. And he told me that no, he wasn't married. He explained to me that the reason why he didn't want to tell me who he was because who he is so out of the ordinary, that he was worried that I wouldn't believe him or that I would think that it's him lying or trying to scam me. And now looking back, I can see why he thought that, because if he would have just come out right in the beginning and told me who he is, I would have been like, this dude's fucking full of shit, and probably just ignored him or thought that he was a troll. He told me somewhere along the lines of what he was. He made a reference to this Nigerian prince scam thing, and he's like, yeah, I just didn't want to tell you who I was because I didn't want you to think this was like the Nigerian prince scam. And I was like, what is the Nigerian prince scam? And I looked it up, and you guys can Google it too. It's like, I guess, a scam online where guys pretend like they're up the prince of Nigeria and they ask you to like PayPal money to them or something. I don't know. So at that point, I was starting to get really, really concerned and suspicious that this person might be a prominent figure, part of like a royal family or something. So I didn't know what to think. I was honestly just shocked at what was happening. And I wasn't really worried about meeting up with him because the place where I was meeting up, it was a regular spot that I had been to. Like the waitresses, the bartenders there, they knew me. It's in a very, very populated and busy part of the city. I have the Find My Friends app and all of my friends can track where I am. So I really did take the precautions and I wasn't really worried. It's really hard to get kidnapped in New York City. I mean, there's like millions of people around all the time. So finally the day came that I was supposed to meet up with him, and I told him that I didn't want him to tell me who he was until I met him, and that he was gonna give me all of the details of everything when I met him, and it was just gonna be a big surprise. So I was like, okay then. So I go to the pizza place and I showed up like a half an hour early because I was so freaking nervous. So I was just waiting there and I was waiting for our table, and he was like running a little bit late because he got stuck in traffic, and my heart was just pounding so fast. But I'm glad that I got there a half an hour early because I got to calm myself down a little bit. And then finally he appeared, and like just by looking at his face, just by like looking at his smile, I was slightly relieved because I could tell that he wasn't some like crazy creeper person, but I could tell that he was really nervous to meet me. So I thought to myself, we gotta get this guy a glass of wine, we're gonna have some pizza, it's gonna be a fun night. He shows up in this big black car and he gets out, and he has people that are working for him that are there, but he had an agreement that they would go and do something else while we went to the pizza place. So we sit down and I'm sitting across from him and I'm like, holy crap, I've been talking to this guy on Snapchat for the past 6 months. I have no idea who he is. I don't even know his name. I don't know where he's from. I don't know his whole story, but we're gonna find out. And yeah, turns out he is a prince. This was definitely not a lie. This was definitely not made up. Like, I have proof, obviously, that this is true. I mean, I've spent time with him, so I know this isn't bullshit. So, you know, but these are things I can't really talk about here on my YouTube channel because I cherish my friendship with this person so much that I would never want to put him in a position where he's uncomfortable by like revealing things about him on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so we hung out, we had pizza, and then that was that. The next day he texted me and we were like, hey, we had so much fun last night. Why don't we go out again? So the second night he ended up taking me to this Asian restaurant that was like incredible, is now probably one of my favorite Asian restaurants in New York City. And we had the entire upstairs of this restaurant to ourselves. I felt like a princess for a night. It was truly magical. It was so fun. And me and him had so much in common. We laughed so much. We just talked about random stuff. We could have sat there and talked for hours and hours and hours. So after that night, we hung out one more time, and he actually invited me over to the hotel where he was staying, and we went to a restaurant that was in the hotel, and we just had some appetizers and some drinks. And it was actually really funny because the bartender at the hotel bar knew who I was and walked up to me and said, oh, are you Stepanka? I love your channel. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a weird moment to be approached by somebody who watches my YouTube channel. So we had some drinks, we chatted. Then he invited me back up to the hotel room because he wanted to show me what it was like. He gave me a tour of the hotel room and he ordered me chocolate cake, and we just sat in his hotel room and ate chocolate cake, and like nothing happened. I know it's gonna be hard for you guys to believe that I did not have sex with this guy. I didn't. I almost am glad that he didn't tell me that he was a prince from the get-go because I got to know him for who he is. And so that was the last time that I saw him, and we talk all the time. He has been a person who has always been there for me, very supportive to me, very supportive for me during my illness, just always a person that he's always been a shoulder to cry on. Anytime like I've had boy problems or a guy broke up with me or something terrible happened in my life, like I've called this dude crying. I'm actually surprised that he doesn't think I'm a total crazy bitch, but maybe he does. So yeah, I guess it's pretty cool if you think about it that one of my best friends is a prince, but I don't even really see him that way and I don't really treat him that way. But sometimes I do think about it and I'm like, huh, that's really fucking random. And it's so crazy how my YouTube channel connected me to somebody from a different part of the world, from like a different life, and now we're like amazing friends. It's just mind-blowing, and yeah, he means a lot to me. I'm sure he's watching this video. But yeah, that is one of the craziest stories. But yeah, that is one of the craziest things that has happened to me in recent years, and I'm so glad I finally got to tell you guys about it, because it's a really cool story. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to click the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Also, make sure to go check out Lexi's video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!